Have you ever said to yourself, I want to get rid of, I want to cure this stuttering as quickly as possible. If I can do it in 3 days, then I'm going to do it. If I can use a couple of techniques and just wipe it out, then that's what I'm going to do. Have you ever said that or thought that to yourself? Well, many people have. They've said things like get rid of. They've said things like cure. They've thought, man, if I can do this in a couple of days or a few minutes, a couple of weeks, man, that's human nature, right? It's human nature for us to want to achieve our result as quickly and as easily as possible. It's human nature, we all do it. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves, and when we do that, we feel let down when those expectations go unmet. My name is Michael Williams, and today we're going to be talking about the deadly stuttering mindset number 4, which is, now watch this, it is setting unrealistic what? That's right, expectations. Very good, very good. Setting unrealistic expectations. And what this means is that you set yourself up for failure, right? You set yourself up for disappointment. So an unrealistic expectation with regards to changing a habit, changing a pattern, changing a disfluency, if you will. An unrealistic expectation is to think that you can change it in a matter of minutes, hours, days, and to some degree, 2 or 3 weeks, right? If this is something that you've been doing for decades, it's probably not going to change in a few weeks. You may see some improvement, but you're probably not going to eliminate it, or you're not going to get rid of it or cure it in a few days or a few weeks. It's going to take more time. So you set yourself up for disappointment when you set unrealistic expectations. And you may identify with this if you hear someone say, or if you've said yourself, I want to cure, or I'm going to get rid of this. Those kinds of expressions are representative of you setting yourself up to, first of all, spend a lot of money and not get the results or not get long-term results. So what should you do instead? One thing that you want to do is you want to make it easy on yourself by taking it easy on yourself. One of my older clients, Mona Jones, one thing that she said is, I don't trip out when I trip up. I don't trip out when I trip up. What does that mean? What that means is that if you set realistic expectations for yourself, then you understand that you're going to trip up from time to time. You are going to have disfluencies. You are going to have setbacks, just like with any other skill that you're learning, any other goal that you're working towards. You're going to trip up. You're going to have reversals. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have dips. You're going to have bumps, potholes, right? This happens. This happens. It's life, right? So you want to set realistic expectations that say, hey, I know these things are going to happen along the journey. Number 2, you're going to say to yourself, I know that this isn't going to change overnight in a few days, or probably not in a few weeks, right? You have to tell yourself that. Even though they might want you to believe that, but the fact of the matter is that there's no way, can't say no way, but I'll say it's virtually impossible for you to rewire your brain to change patterns instantly. Now it can happen, but generally speaking, it'll be a temporary fix, right? If you want to create a new way of thinking and a new way of speaking, that's got to be represented by new wiring, that is, new connections, stronger connections in your brain. And those connections are made through repetition, through the repetitive firing of certain neurons together over and over and over. When we are learning a new skill, or we're creating a new way of thinking, we're changing a habit, creating a habit, right? the way that's represented in our brain is that those areas of our brain that manage that activity, those behaviors, those thinking patterns, as we are consciously thinking, okay, I want to think this way, I want to speak this way, those areas in our brains that manage that are creating connections. And the more we think that way, the more we try to speak that way, the more the connections are wired together. Something called Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together, right? So they fire together the more we repeat the behavior. And the more they fire together, the more they wire together, the stronger the connection becomes, and the faster and stronger the signal becomes. And as that happens, something called myelin. Myelin is like insulation, right? So think of a high-speed internet connection. And think if you strip the wires away, the signal would leak. The signal would leak out. It wouldn't be as strong as if it were, what? Insulated. If it's insulated, it causes the signal to be stronger, to go faster, right? Makes the connection stronger. So a realistic expectation is that it takes time for our brain to build these connections and then wire them in stronger so that they become natural and easy for us to do. This simply takes time and effort, right? So when we set realistic expectations, what we're doing is we're saying, hey, this is going to take some time. It's going to take some consistent effort. It's going to take repetition. I know this. So therefore, during the process, if I find that I'm not able to do something or it's not natural, it's not easy for me to do, I'm not going to trip out, right? If I'm trying to do it and I trip up, that is, I have a disfluency, I get stuck, I block, stutter, whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to trip out and go, oh my God, it's not working. I was speaking smooth last week and now I'm not. This must not be working. No, you understand it's a part of the process. So you're setting what? Realistic expectations for yourself. When you do that, when you trip up, which you are, and you don't trip out, then you have greater confidence. You continue to move up that mountain, right? Let's just say you're climbing a mountain and you slip and you fall back a little bit. Then you say, oh, that's it. Slipped and fell. I'm just going back down to the bottom. You never get to the top. But you keep climbing, you slip back, you say, okay, let's see if I can do this better. And you just keep climbing. Eventually, you reach the top. And you keep going to the next mountain. Same thing. Or you're driving along, you go over a bump, you say, oh, I just went over a bump. I got to turn around and go home, right? No, you just keep going. Same thing. You set realistic expectations. You understand you're going to go over bumps. You're going to hit some potholes. You're going to have to take some detours, but you keep moving towards your destination. So you set realistic expectations. So the confident speaker's mindset says, hey, I'm going to make it easier on myself. I'm going to make my journey easier by taking it easier on myself and setting realistic expectations. So one thing that you can do is you can tell yourself, for example, whenever I get stuck, I'll just remind myself it's natural. It's okay. Everybody has disfluencies from time to time. It's just a bump in the road, right? And then you look and say, okay, look at how far I've come, right? You look at that. Well, now I'm actually becoming a better and better speaker. Look at where I was a few months ago or last year, right? So once again, here's the action step. You create what we call an implementation intention, and you tell yourself, hey, whenever I get stuck, I know I will get stuck sometimes, I'll just tell myself, I'll remind myself it's natural, it's okay, it's just a bump in the road. Everybody has disfluencies, and so therefore so am I. And look at how far I've come, though. Just look at how far I've come, and I'm actually becoming a better and better speaker, okay? It's what we call an implementation intention. Hey there, my name is Michael Williams, Pro90G founder and smooth speech coach. Are you tired of struggling with your speech? Ready to transform your life and boost your confidence? Then it's time for you to enroll in my Pro90D private laser-focused coaching program.
I can only say is thanks I'm due to Pro90D and Michael and the support and how he's just changed my life and my speech.
I honestly think that if not for the laser-focused coaching with Michael, I wouldn't be where I am right now. It's just impossible.
Don't let speech struggles hold you back. Book your call or enroll today. Let's take the first step towards a smoother, more confident you. Let's do it together. Book your call or enroll today.